Welcome back to the channel. Guys, we got a sneak peek of Superman coming out in July. Now, what's interesting about this sneak peek is there is dialogue in it, right? So, we know that the big points of this film have been that David Cornswell gives an excellent performance, as well as Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, right? So it's very important to keep that in mind. We'll get to see some of these acting chops. Also, as we review this, I am going to be constantly stopping the video. If you haven't seen the sneak peek yet, I would advise you probably watch it in its entirety. Then if you want some of my pointers and some of my insight on what we're seeing, you can come back and watch the video then if you like. Otherwise, you can watch it with me now. We will be analyzing some of the scenes. And with that said, let's get started. Okay, now I want to stop for a minute. This opening scene is what we've seen in all the other trailers. Superman getting thrown to Earth by some force. We don't know what it is. But what I did notice is that you see these two big crystals kind of sticking out of the ground, right? And, you know, I'm assuming that's related to the Fortress of Solitude, or it's, you know, or something related to it. We saw that in the opening shot. Now, I found this interesting because a lot of people would say, what the heck is going on, right? Krypto, you know, we also see Krypto running up to him. These are all shots and scenes we've seen before. We see him running up to Superman, right? Interesting, he doesn't choose flight. Now, what does that mean, right? Probably means that Krypto doesn't fly. Maybe James Gunn thought that flying would be way too much for Krypto. It would be way too comic booky, and I agree with that. If that's the direction, I 100% agree with that. But we can see that Krypto does have, you know, apparently probably strength, because he's hurting Superman a lot, although Superman's already in quite a bit of pain. Now, some people don't like that part of this sneak preview. They don't like how Krypto's reacting to Superman. You know, most of the time when your animals at home, they can sense when you've been harmed, they can sense when you're in trouble, and their reactions are different. Krypto's still treating Superman like he's just down, playing, and so on. So that I didn't have a problem with this scene, simply because how many of us who are pet owners are aware of that? Even when we're sick, or if we're in pain, or we're hurt, our animals don't always know it, and they will still play with us, jump up on us, and we can have injuries, and we can have things like that. So it could just be that Krypto is a normal standard dog that doesn't recognize those things, right? Also, and here's something outside of the film itself, some tidbit information. James Gunn, Krypto in the movie is modeled after James Gunn's actual dog, who looks exactly like Krypto. He was a rescue dog, I believe. He's not white like Krypto. He's more of a darker color, right? But apparently this was a troubled animal. I remember my sister adopted a troubled Chihuahua, right, who had been in several homes, and he just didn't get along with the families and the children. He's a dog that I don't know if he had been abused prior, but he just couldn't get along with people. And he never got over that. He was always ready to bite you and snap at you. But my sister loved him to death, and he lived with her many years. So what I'm saying is that this is kind of paying homage to James Gunn's troubled dog. So another reason Krypto could be harming Superman or just be an overexcited dog is because maybe that's like the issues that James Gunn had with his own dog, right? And so I think it might be related to that. Now, I'm already sold on this part because you see the Fortress of Solitude. I've never seen it done like that, right? Where the Fortress of Solitude burst out the ground, right? So that's just, these little points. That's just some more credit to James Gunn, attention to detail, right? And these little interesting things he puts in, right? Never seen that done before. In a Superman movie where the fortress is not just exposed to satellites or the elements or anybody, that it goes away, goes back into the ground when Superman's not, entering it. It's not, on the scene, right? So anything Fortress of Solitude is going to sell me because in many Superman depictions, the Fortress of Solitude gets the less screen time, right? And I love everything about the history of Krypton, so I want to see more of that in the Fortress of Solitude. And generally, you get less of that. You get less details about the fortress. So that's definitely a selling point for me. Also, you see what appears to be the entryway to the fortress.
Thank you. No need to thank us, sir, as we will not appreciate it. We have no consciousness whatsoever. Merely automatons here to serve. Meet 12. She's new.
He looked at me.
14 fractured bones.
Damage to bladder, kidney, large intestine, lungs.
With a help.
Now, of course, these are the Kryptonian service bots. It's kind of interesting because I'm looking at these bots and they kind of look a lot like some of the robots that are now on the market, right? So it's just kind of interesting to be looking at these robots and thinking about how far we've come, thinking about, that they're depicting something that exists in our world today. Now, also, the bots, as they're explaining to Superman, as he's telling them thank you. So what that shows is there is still a clear human size separation from the embrace of his Kryptonian heritage. As I say, Superman is still very much a human being, right? And explained in the comics, or how they're described in the comics, Kryptonians are very much emotionalists. They're almost like robots themselves. And so the robots are letting them know, hey, we're just robots. We're just automatons, right? That, you don't need to say those things. It's not going to make us, feel better. And then you kind of get the bots that got the humor, kind of the light humor. And I know some people don't like that, especially if you're coming over from the Snyderverse, right? This looks a little cheesy. It looks a little comic booky. The robots are making jokes, it kind of, but I like how they kind of pull back from that, right? They don't overdo it, right? And also, guys, keep in mind that there are going to be people taking their families to see this film, right? And one of my predictions is it will gross $1 billion, right? So in order for this to gross $1 billion, who you got to be selling tickets to? You got to be selling tickets to 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds with their families, right? You look at something like the Snyderverse, a very mature, dark, not very exciting Superman, right? That was going to disconnect those demographics from 12 to 17. So I don't mind that they're putting little stuff in here like this. Maybe the kids could get toys look like this. Maybe someone creates a Kryptonian bot in real life that we can use as a service bot. I don't have a problem with that part. As long as they don't overdo it. And I'm told from sources and research that when they get into these little moments like this, where you're kind of seeing classic James Gunn to do the, the kind of comic booky humor type thing, just like all of his movies he's done, it doesn't overshadow the movie, and he knows how to balance it when to pull away from this stuff.
A dose of yellow sun will have you up and at 'em in no time. Level 4, 292 times.
Also, like that part, the fortress is a very mobile structure. It kind of reminds you of the solar towers, right? And solar panels that track the sun to absorb more of the sun's radiation. Of course, Superman getting the best, maximum, optimal potential from the sun, energy from the sun is ideal.
I'm Saharan Prime, please one.
Got some dialogue from our Lex Luthor. Now, I hear again, he does an excellent job in this film. People are saying his performance was top rate, as well as David Cornsweet's, right? So, you get a better scene of him fighting the Koju. And I think it looks good. The quality of this film looks excellent. I liked it, guys. Now, what we didn't get to see, the information has come out that Supergirl is in the movie. She does show up at some point in this film. I don't know if it's to lead off to her own film, or if she comes at the end, or what have you. And the rest of the sneak previews, things we've already seen, right? I liked it, guys. I'm already convinced it's going to be a great movie that grosses $1 billion. I think it's going to be one of those films that a good film we haven't seen in a long time, right? Because have we got any good films this year, right? Really great blockbuster films. I don't think so. So this is gonna, I think, be it. Uh, I have full confidence in James Gunn, as I have been saying. I think he's gonna deliver. I think it is gonna be a balanced film, right? Oh, another point I want to get out as well, as for the people who are concerned about the multiple characters we're seeing, the Green Lantern Corps, Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho, all these people, right? My understanding, for those of y'all who kind of wanted the Superman standalone movie, is don't worry. These characters are not going to take up a lot of screen time, right? They may feel like cameos, right? So even though they're showing them like that, you're probably not going to see a great deal of them, right? From what I've been hearing. So all looks good, guys. Tell me all what you think about it. What parts did you like? Are you concerned about this film? Because some people are. But I think that even if there are some elements in the film that you kind of like, oh, you didn't like, rest assured that from good sources, I understand it to be that they will not, these scenes won't last long, right? So if it's too much humor and so on, or you think it's just too many characters on screen, shouldn't take away from the film much, because they won't be in there long, as I understand it. But guys, that's all I want to say in this video. Don't forget to share this video, like the video, and subscribe. It's very important, guys. Very important, because we want everybody to see this movie so it makes billions of dollars. They keep making James Gunn Superman movies. Also, I think he's going in the right direction. He is targeting the right demographics as well. People and their families, people can, and their families can take their kids to see this film, right? It's balancing it is important to get those ticket sales, but it's also just very important for, I think, a wholesome film, right? Like, if it gets to the point you can't take your family to see Superman because Superman's breaking people's necks, I think there's a misunderstanding of what Superman is supposed to be about. But that's all I want to say in this video, guys. So next time, as always, take care of yourselves and each other.